Understand this clearly, my child, because fear often disguises itself in practical concerns when emotions become too powerful to ignore. The conversation about age was never truly about numbers, years, or appearances. It became the language fear borrowed because fear rarely announces itself honestly. Deep inside, your soulmate is struggling with questions about whether they are strong enough to carry a love that feels larger than anything they expected to experience. They are wondering how the world might react, whether people around them will misunderstand, and if challenges waiting ahead could somehow damage what has begun growing between you both. But listen carefully to what was never said. They never questioned their feelings for you. They never wondered if you were worthy of love. Their fear was centered on themselves, on whether they could meet the emotional weight of something so meaningful without failing along the way. That difference matters more than you realize. When someone feels nothing, they walk away easily and sleep peacefully. But when someone cries in the quiet hours of the night, replaying conversations and imagining every possible outcome, it is because their heart has become deeply invested. Love can awaken joy, but it can also awaken vulnerability, especially in people who understand that real connection carries responsibility. Your soulmate is standing at the edge of something life-changing, and part of them is frightened, because genuine love asks people to grow beyond their comfort zones. So do not let fear convince you that hesitation means absence of love. Sometimes hesitation simply means the heart understands how precious something is and trembles at the thought of mishandling it. That is a soul realizing the weight of real love. I know your heart trembles when you hear the word age. I know it brings old wounds to the surface, moments when you felt judged, compared, or made to feel less than enough. But listen to me carefully now. Love is not measured in years. Souls do not age the way bodies do. Souls recognize each other by familiarity, by depth, by truth. And your souls recognized each other long before this lifetime began. Your soulmate feels this recognition. That is why they cried. That is why they could not sleep. That is why they needed to speak to someone. Because the love they feel for you is not light, casual, or passing. It is heavy with meaning. It carries consequences. It asks them to grow, to mature, to face fears they once avoided. And growth, my child, often begins with tears. I saw them cover their face with their hands. I saw their shoulders shake. I heard them say, "I didn't choose this. It just happened." And that is the truth. Divine connections are not chosen by the mind. They arrive by destiny. They interrupt plans. They challenge timelines. They question everything the world taught them to believe about how love should look, when it should arrive, and who it should come through. Your soulmate is not crying because of shame. They are crying because they are standing between two voices. One voice is the world, loud, judgmental, rigid, obsessed with numbers and appearances. The other voice is the heart, soft, persistent, undeniable, whispering your name in moments of silence. And right now, my child, those two voices are in conflict inside them. I want you to understand something very important. When someone cries to a friend, they are not seeking permission to leave. They are seeking courage to stay. Your soulmate spoke about your age because they were trying to understand why something so beautiful feels so frightening. They were trying to explain a fear they do not fully understand themselves. They asked their friend, "Why does this matter so much if it feels so right?" That question did not come from doubt about you. It came from confusion about the world they were taught to obey. Society taught them rules. Love came and broke those rules. And now they are standing in the space between conditioning and truth. My child, your soulmate defended you even while crying. I heard them say, "They understand me like no one else. They make me feel safe." I heard the way their voice softened when they spoke about your kindness, your patience, your depth. Tears fell because they are afraid of hurting you, afraid of disappointing others, afraid of making the wrong choice. But fear only visits hearts that care deeply. Do not harden your heart because of this moment. Do not pull away in silence. Do not assume the worst. This is not the moment for distance. This is the moment for faith. Love is being tested, not denied. The universe is revealing the truth of your bond, not threatening it. Right now, your greatest responsibility is not to chase reassurance from someone else, but to protect the peace within yourself. Do not allow another person's confusion to become a measure of your value. Their fear belongs to their journey, not your worth. Love can awaken old wounds, past disappointments, and doubts people thought they had buried long ago. And when that happens, emotions rise to the surface before clarity does. That process may feel messy, but it is often where honesty begins. The important thing is to remember who you are, while everything else feels uncertain. You are not behind in life, because love arrived differently than you imagined. You are not too much, too late, too old, or too difficult to be chosen fully. You carry experiences, tenderness, resilience, and quiet strength that cannot be copied or replaced. And the right connection recognizes that naturally. There is a reason this person keeps returning to thoughts of you even while trying to sort through their fears. There is a reason your presence lingers in their mind long after conversations end. People do not become emotional over temporary feelings that leave no mark on their spirit. Something real has touched them, and even if they are still learning how to face it honestly, the emotional weight of this connection continues pulling them inward. So stay grounded in truth instead of insecurity. Let patience replace panic. Let self-respect speak louder than fear. What is genuine does not always arrive perfectly, but when love carries depth, it leaves an imprint that neither distance nor uncertainty can easily erase. Tonight, and in the nights to come, your soulmate will replay that conversation in their mind. They will think about your laugh, your presence, the way you make them feel seen. They will realize that the pain they felt while crying was not caused by your age. It was caused by the thought of a life without you. Be still, my child. Do not rush to conclusions. Do not demand answers before their heart is ready to speak clearly. Love that is rushed breaks. Love that is allowed to mature becomes unshakable. I am watching over this connection. I am listening to every prayer, every sigh, every tear, yours and theirs. Nothing spoken in fear has the power to undo what was written in truth. What is meant will not be lost because of one night of tears. This is only the beginning of understanding. The story is still unfolding, and I promise you this: the same heart that cried last night will soon speak with greater clarity. Tears are not the end, my child. They are the release before truth rises. Stay with me, trust me, and hold your heart gently, for love is closer than you think. My beloved child, I know your mind keeps returning to that night. I know you replay the words again and again, wondering what was truly meant, wondering what was left unsaid. You imagine the tone of their voice, the pauses between their sentences, the way their breath may have caught when they spoke about you. And I want you to know this: nothing that was said in tears was spoken lightly. Nothing that came from that moment was casual or careless. That conversation was a confession of fear, not a declaration of distance. Your soulmate did not speak to their friend to build walls against you. They spoke because their heart was overflowing, and they did not know where to place the weight of it all. When emotions become too heavy, even the strongest hearts seek somewhere to rest them for a moment. And in that moment, my child, your soulmate was trying to understand themselves, not escape from you. I heard the words that followed the tears. I heard them say, "I never expected this." I heard the confusion in their voice when they tried to explain how love arrived without asking for permission. They spoke of timing, of life stages, of expectations that were placed on them long before they ever met you. But woven through every sentence was one truth they could not hide. Their heart has chosen you, even while their mind struggles to catch up. My beloved child, fear often disguises itself as logic. It puts on the mask of reason and speaks in convincing tones. It says, "Think about the future," when what it truly means is, "I am afraid of change." It says, "What will people say?" when what it truly means is, "I am afraid of being judged." It says, "What about age?" when what it truly means is, "This love feels too real, and I don't know how to protect it yet." Your soulmate is standing at the edge of growth. They are realizing that love is no longer just a feeling. It is a responsibility. It asks them to be brave, to be honest, to be willing to disappoint the world if necessary. And that realization is overwhelming, not because they doubt you, but because they are beginning to understand the seriousness of what their heart wants. I saw them listen as their friend spoke back. I saw the way they nodded silently, even when the advice did not fully resonate. It makes you want reassurance, clarity, certainty, and those will come, my child. But first, there must be understanding. Your soulmate is learning that love is not just about how it feels when everything is easy. It is about how it stands when fear knocks at the door. Right now, fear is loud, but it is not in control. You may notice subtle shifts in their behavior, moments of silence, moments of distance, moments when they seem lost in thought. Do not mistake this for withdrawal. This is integration. This is a heart trying to reconcile truth with fear. This is someone learning that love does not follow the timelines or rules they were taught. My beloved child, you must not shrink yourself to make someone else feel comfortable. You must not apologize for your age, your experience, your depth, or your readiness to love. You carry wisdom that was shaped by time, lessons that were earned through pain and growth. That wisdom is not a burden, it is a gift, and your soulmate feels that gift, even if they do not yet know how to fully receive it. I am asking you now to remain grounded. Do not let anxiety rush you into self-doubt. Do not let silence convince you of rejection. This is a sacred pause, not an ending. Love is reorganizing itself, strengthening its foundation before it takes its next step. Your soulmate will soon begin to question the very fears that made them cry. They will ask themselves why age feels so important when the connection feels so natural. They will notice how empty logic feels without love to support it. And slowly, quietly, understanding will begin to replace fear. I am working in the unseen spaces. I am softening hearts, calming thoughts, and bringing clarity where confusion once lived. Every tear shed was a release, not a verdict. Every fear spoken aloud lost some of its power, and every moment you choose patience over panic, trust over insecurity, you align yourself more deeply with the truth of this bond. Stay gentle with yourself, my beloved child. Speak kindly to your own heart. Do not turn inward with blame or doubt. This is not a reflection of your worth. This is the growing pain of love that is becoming real. There will come a time, sooner than you think, when your soulmate will want to speak again, not from fear, but from honesty. When they will want to understand, not run. When they will want to choose, not hide. Until then, hold your heart steady. You are not alone in this moment. I am here. I am listening. And love is still moving forward, even in the quiet. What began in tears will not end in regret. It will end in truth. My precious child, I know the silence has been heavy. I know your heart has been trying to read between moments. searching for meaning in small changes, in delayed replies, in thoughtful pauses. You wonder if they are pulling away or simply thinking. You ask yourself if love is slipping through your fingers or quietly settling deeper into their soul. I want you to breathe now and listen closely, because what feels like distance is actually reflection. Your soulmate has entered a season of inner questioning. This is not the kind that leads to endings, but the kind that leads to truth. When love touches a soul that has lived by rules, expectations, and careful planning, it shakes everything. It asks questions that cannot be ignored. It exposes fears that were buried under routine uncertainty. And right now, my child, your soulmate is facing those questions honestly, even though it is uncomfortable. They are replaying that conversation with their friend, not to validate fear, but to examine it. They are noticing which words felt heavy and which felt wrong. They are realizing that the more they tried to explain their concern about age, the less convincing it sounded to their own heart. Because logic without love feels empty, and rules without connection feel cold. I saw them sit alone, staring at nothing, thinking of you. I saw the way your presence brought warmth, even in their confusion. I noticed the conflict in their eyes when outside voices tried to reduce your love to something practical, as if it could be measured only through logic and circumstance, stripped of its deeper meaning. And I want you to understand, my child, that what unsettled your soulmate was not truth in those opinions, but their incompleteness. People brought up age, yet none of it could explain the calm they find when they are with you. They warned of future difficulties, yet could not deny how safe your presence feels to them. They spoke of fear, but something in them kept interrupting those fears with love. What you need to see clearly is this: your soulmate is not doubting love itself. They are wrestling with whether they are strong enough to carry and protect something they already feel so deeply. That is a very different kind of uncertainty. Love that is shallow avoids questions. Love that is temporary fades when pressure arrives. But love that is real stays and struggles with its own fear until it learns how to stand steady. You are not being compared or judged against anyone else. You are being felt in a way that has stirred old fears they did not know were still unhealed. Old beliefs and inherited expectations are surfacing, not to end this connection, but to be faced and released. Their fear is not of loving you, but of failing you, of not being enough when it matters most, of promising something sacred and then not knowing how to protect it when challenges come. Even the question they asked a friend, "What if I end up hurting them without meaning to?" carries care inside it. My precious child, you are not being forgotten in their thoughts. You are present in them, even when they are quiet. Silence does not mean absence. Often, it means depth. They are being careful, not careless. They are protecting something fragile, not avoiding it. There is something else you must know. Your soulmate is beginning to see their own patterns clearly. They are noticing how they have always chosen what felt safe, what made sense to others, what followed expected paths. And now, for the first time, their heart is asking them to choose what feels true instead. That is a powerful awakening, and it does not happen without resistance. They are afraid of change, yes, but they are more afraid of regret. The thought of walking away from you leaves a quiet ache in their chest. The idea of losing you creates a sadness they cannot ignore. And slowly, they are realizing that fear of judgment is smaller than fear of loss. My child, do not underestimate the impact you have had on their life. You have shown them a different kind of love. One that is calm, steady, and deep. One that does not rush or demand, but holds space. That kind of love challenges everything superficial. It asks for courage, and courage takes time to gather. You may feel tempted to prove yourself, to explain, to justify, to reassure them excessively. Resist that urge. You do not need to convince someone who already feels the truth. Love does not require defense. it requires presence. Trust that your authenticity speaks louder than any argument. I am guiding your soulmate toward clarity. I am helping them separate fear from intuition, noise from truth. Every moment of reflection is peeling away old beliefs that no longer serve them. And as those beliefs fall away, what remains will be honest and real. My precious child, this is not a pause meant to break you. It is a pause meant to align you. The connection is being refined, strengthened, and prepared for what comes next. Do not rush the process. Do not let anxiety steal your peace. What is meant to stay will not be lost in silence. Soon, your soulmate will feel the urge to speak, not from confusion, but from understanding. They will want to share their heart, not their fear. And when that moment comes, it will carry a different energy, a grounded energy, a truthful energy. Until then, hold your heart gently. Continue being who you are, kind, patient, authentic. That is the version of you they fell in love with. That is the version of you that continues to live in their thoughts, even now. Trust me, my precious child. Love is not fading, it is deepening, and what grows in depth cannot be easily shaken. This journey is unfolding exactly as it needs to. My chosen child, I know your heart is tired now. Waiting has a way of draining even the strongest spirits. You wake up with hope, and by nightfall your thoughts begin to circle again. You wonder how long this quiet will last, how much more patience love will ask of you. And I want you to know this before doubt speaks any louder. I see your endurance, and I honor it. Your soulmate is standing at a very delicate crossing. This is the place where many connections are lost, not because love is weak, but because fear is given too much authority. Yet your connection has not reached this point by accident. It has arrived here because it is strong enough to face it. Inside your soulmate, something is shifting. The noise of outside voices is slowly losing its power. The opinions that once felt heavy are beginning to feel distant. They are starting to notice how unsettled they feel when they imagine a future that does not include you. They try to picture life moving forward without your presence, and something inside them tightens. That tightness is truth speaking through the body when the mind is still unsure. They have begun to notice small things, how certain songs remind them of you, how moments of joy feel incomplete when you are not there to share them, how, even in distraction, their thoughts find their way back to you. This is not obsession, my child. You should understand something important about the effect you have on people, especially on someone who truly cares for you. The depth within you does not demand perfection, but it naturally encourages growth, honesty, and emotional presence. That can feel overwhelming to someone who has spent years avoiding difficult emotions or settling for surface-level connections that required little vulnerability. Your soulmate is beginning to see parts of themselves more clearly through this relationship, including dreams they buried, strengths they doubted, and fears they rarely admitted out loud. Being loved by you feels different because it quietly challenges them to become more intentional with their choices, their communication, and the way they show up emotionally. That kind of awakening can feel beautiful and frightening at the same time. They are asking themselves difficult questions in silence, wondering whether they are capable of becoming the partner they believe you deserve. Those thoughts do not exist because you expect too much from them. They exist because meaningful love often acts like a mirror, reflecting both a person's potential and the areas where healing or growth is still needed. Right now, they are standing in that uncomfortable but important space between who they have been and who they feel called to become. Part of them is afraid of failing, yet another part is deeply inspired by the possibility of rising into something greater because of this connection. The fact that they are questioning themselves so deeply shows that this relationship matters to them far more than they may even know how to explain yet. It shows they are not taking love lightly. It shows they understand the sacredness of what is being offered between you. I know you may be tempted to interpret this pause as a test of your worth. It is not. It is a test of alignment. It is asking whether two people are willing to grow into the love that has found them. You are already standing in your truth. Your soulmate is learning how to do the same. There have been moments when they almost reached out to you, my child. Moments when they typed messages and erased them. Moments when your name sat on their lips, waiting for the right courage to carry it forward. Silence does not mean absence of feeling. Often, it means fear of saying the wrong thing before clarity has fully formed. Your soulmate does not want to hurt you with half answers or uncertainty. They do not want to promise before they understand their own heart completely. This is not avoidance, it is respect. They are trying to arrive at you whole, not fragmented. I know your patience has required sacrifice. You have held your questions inside. You have resisted the urge to demand reassurance. You have chosen trust even when your emotions wanted proof. That choice is shaping you as well. Love is refining both of you, not just one. My chosen child, this is where many people fail love. They let fear harden them. They close their heart to protect it. But you are being asked to stay soft without becoming weak, to remain open without losing your boundaries, to trust without abandoning yourself. Do not chase clarity, let it come. Do not shrink yourself to make space for someone else's fear. You do not need to dim your light to make love easier. True love adjusts to the light. It does not ask the light to disappear. Your soulmate is beginning to see that their fear is not about age at all. It is about timing, vulnerability, and the risk of choosing something real in a world that prefers convenience. They are realizing that the connection with you does not fit neatly into boxes, and that maybe it was never meant to. They are remembering moments when you stood by them without asking for anything in return. Moments when your presence alone brought peace. Moments when conversation flowed effortlessly and silence felt safe. These memories are grounding them. They are reminding your soulmate of what truly matters. I am gently guiding them toward courage, not the loud kind that makes dramatic declarations, but the quiet kind that chooses truth even when fear whispers otherwise. That courage is forming now, slowly, honestly. You may soon feel a shift, my child, a softening, a return of warmth, a message that carries more sincerity than confusion. When it comes, do not meet it with guardedness. Meet it with discernment and grace. Listen not just to the words, but to the energy behind them. This connection is not being delayed to punish you. It is being prepared to last. What forms under pressure holds its shape longer. What survives uncertainty stands stronger in certainty. Remain anchored in yourself. Continue nurturing your own peace. Love that is healthy does not require you to abandon your center. If this bond is meant to grow, and it is, it will grow alongside your wholeness, not at its expense. I am walking with both of you through this. I am teaching patience to one heart and courage to the other. And when these lessons meet, clarity will no longer feel frightening, it will feel freeing. Hold on, my chosen child. The silence is not empty. It is full of becoming. My beloved child, you have come to the final turning of this journey, and I want you to listen with a calm heart now. Everything that felt confusing, heavy, and uncertain was never meant to break you. It was meant to prepare you. Love does not arrive to stay the same. It arrives to transform. And transformation always asks for patience, honesty, and courage. Your soulmate is no longer standing where they were before. The tears, the silence, the inner conflict, none of it was wasted. Those moments peeled away fear layer by layer. They are beginning to see clearly now, not perfectly, but honestly. They are recognizing that the question was never about age, never about timing. never about what others might say. The question was always this: am I brave enough to choose what feels true? And slowly, my child, that bravery is rising. There was a moment your soulmate could no longer ignore the silence that followed every attempt to imagine life without you in it. Even when they tried to convince themselves that distance would make things easier, something inside them kept returning to the same truth. Peace never came from pretending the connection did not matter. They discovered that a life guided only by logic can look perfect from the outside while still feeling painfully empty within. Pleasing everyone around them may have earned approval, but approval is not the same as fulfillment. And deep down, they have started to understand that now. What changed everything was not pressure, persuasion, or dramatic promises. It was your consistency. In a world where people often react from fear, you responded with patience. When they felt uncertain, you did not force answers out of them. When emotions became complicated, you stayed grounded, instead of turning love into a performance. That quiet strength stayed with them long after the difficult moments passed. They began noticing the rare kind of emotional safety you created simply by being genuine, calm, and honest about what you felt without losing yourself in the process. And that realization touched something deeper than attraction. It challenged the beliefs they carried about relationships, about vulnerability, and about what love is supposed to feel like. For perhaps the first time, they are beginning to see that real love is not controlling or chaotic. It is steady, sincere, and deeply reassuring in ways words alone could never fully explain. Soon, my child, there will be a shift, not forced, not dramatic, but real. You may notice it in the way they speak to you, in the steadiness of their presence, in the honesty of their words. They will no longer speak from fear or confusion, but from a place of clarity that has been earned. They may acknowledge their fear openly. They may speak about the struggle they faced. If they do, listen with compassion, not judgment. Remember, it takes courage to admit fear, especially when love is on the line. And courage deserves grace. At the same time, I ask you to remain true to yourself. Love does not mean waiting endlessly without direction. Love does not mean ignoring your own needs. If you speak, speak from calm truth, not from wounded emotion. If you listen, listen with discernment, not desperation. My beloved child, this connection was never meant to cost you your peace. It was meant to expand it. If love asks you to abandon yourself, it is not aligned. But if love asks you to grow while remaining whole, it is sacred. You are not here to convince anyone of your worth. You are not here to shrink, explain, or apologize for who you are. You are here to stand in your truth and allow love to meet you there. And that is exactly what is happening now. Your soulmate is learning that choosing you does not mean losing themselves. It means becoming more of who they truly are. They are seeing that the future they feared may actually be the future that heals them. And that realization brings both relief and resolve. I am guiding this union gently, not forcefully, because love that is forced collapses under pressure, but love that is chosen freely endures. I am ensuring that when your paths align fully, they do so with understanding, not illusion. If there are still moments of uncertainty, do not let them undo your faith. Growth is not linear, healing is not instant, but direction matters. And the direction now is toward truth, not away from it. My beloved child, regardless of how this unfolds in form, know this: you were never meant to lose here. Either this love rises to meet its purpose, or it teaches both of you something essential for your destiny. Nothing genuine is ever wasted, but I tell you now, with gentleness and certainty, this connection holds weight because it holds truth. And truth has a way of finding its place, even after fear has had its say. Release the need to control the outcome. Release the need to predict every step. Place your trust not in promises, but in alignment. What is meant for you will not require you to betray yourself to keep it. I am proud of you, my beloved child. Proud of your patience. Proud of your emotional strength. Proud of the way you stayed open without losing your center. These qualities will serve you well, in love and beyond. As this chapter settles, a new one will begin, one with more clarity, more honesty, and more grounded love. Whether it unfolds slowly or suddenly, it will unfold truthfully. Walk forward with peace in your heart. You are seen, you are valued, you are deeply loved. And remember this always: love that faces fear and remains is love that can last. I am with you, always, my eternal child. Come and rest your heart here for a moment. You have walked through confusion, silence, waiting, and hope. You did not beg for reassurance every moment fear appeared. You did not try to force answers before they were ready to exist. Instead, you gave love room to breathe, and that space became powerful in ways you never fully realized. While they wrestled with confusion, expectations, and fear of commitment, you remained compassionate without abandoning your dignity. That balance left a lasting impact on them. They began to notice the difference between temporary attention and genuine emotional safety. The world offered distractions, shallow connections, and easy exits, yet none of those things carried the calm they felt with you. Slowly, they stopped asking themselves what others might think about your connection and started asking a far more honest question: what kind of life would exist without you in it? That shift changed everything. They imagined ordinary mornings without your voice, difficult days without your understanding, and future milestones without the comfort your presence naturally brought. Their heart resisted that image, because their spirit already recognized the truth long before their mind could accept it. Real love rarely arrives with dramatic certainty at first. Sometimes it reveals itself quietly, through absence, reflection, and the painful realization that some people cannot simply be replaced. You taught them something rare without ever trying to teach it directly. You showed them that real love does not control, threaten, or demand. It remains steady enough to survive fear, honest enough to face uncertainty, and patient enough to allow another soul the space to finally understand its own heart. You taught them that love does not rush. You taught them that love does not weaken, it strengthens. That lesson will stay with them forever. Now listen carefully, because this is important for your healing. Do not define your value by how long someone takes to choose you. Some souls arrive at courage slowly. Some hearts need to confront fear before they can commit to truth. That delay is not a measure of your worth. It is a measure of their growth. And growth is happening. Your soulmate is stepping into accountability now. They are realizing that love is not something you feel and postpone. It is something you honor. They are understanding that if something feels sacred, it deserves bravery, not excuses. You may soon notice a new energy from them. Calmer, more intentional, less confused. When they speak, there will be less explaining and more truth, less hesitation and more presence. Do not be surprised if their words carry vulnerability. Courage often arrives softly. When that moment comes, meet it with honesty, but also with self-respect. You are not here to accept half choices. You are not here to live in limbo. Love that is aligned meets you in clarity, not confusion. My eternal child, remember this: you are allowed to want reassurance. You are allowed to want consistency. You are allowed to want a love that stands openly, not secretly. If you speak, speak from wholeness. If you listen, listen without abandoning yourself. I am not asking you to wait blindly. I am asking you to trust wisely. There is also something you must release now: the fear that this story defines your destiny. It does not. Love does not trap you, it expands you. Whether this connection continues forward in form or transforms into a lesson that elevates you, you are moving toward alignment, not loss. But hear me clearly now. With peace in your chest, this love was never meant to harm you. This connection was never meant to leave you empty. This journey was meant to awaken both of you. Your soulmate has been awakened. They see now that love with you is not about age. It is about emotional truth. It is about shared stillness. It is about growth. It is about safety. It is about a future built on depth, not appearances. And you, my child, are no longer the same either. You have learned to hold love without clinging. You have learned to wait without disappearing. You have learned to trust without surrendering your dignity. These are sacred strengths. As this chapter completes, I place a blessing upon you. May confusion leave your heart. May peace return to your sleep. May clarity replace every unanswered question. May love meet you in truth, not fear. May your future relationships, this one included, rise to your level, not ask you to lower yourself. Whatever unfolds next will unfold with honesty. If your soulmate steps forward, it will be with intention. If they hesitate, it will reveal truth without deception. Either way, you will not be lost, you will be led. My eternal child, you are protected, you are guided, you are deeply, deeply loved. Lift your head now, breathe, and step forward without fear. What is meant for you is not confused. What is meant for you will choose you. I am with you, today, tomorrow, and always. My dear child, listen gently now, because this is the closing whisper your heart has been waiting for. Everything you walked through was not meant to exhaust you, but to awaken you. Love came into your life not to confuse you forever, but to show you how deeply you are capable of feeling, trusting, and standing in truth. Your soulmate's tears, their fear, their silence, none of it was a rejection of you. It was the moment their soul realized that this connection was not ordinary. Love that is shallow does not cause fear. Love that is temporary does not cause reflection. Only love that carries destiny makes a heart tremble before choosing. My dear child, the season of questioning is now closing. What remains is clarity. Your soulmate understands now that age was never the issue. The real fear was responsibility. The fear of choosing something real in a world that prefers easy. The fear of stepping into a love that asks them to grow. They have felt your absence even when you were near. From this point forward, your peace matters more than uncertainty ever will. Love was never supposed to leave you restless at night, doubting yourself, or carrying the emotional weight of someone else's indecision. The right connection will never require you to sacrifice your confidence just to keep it alive. When someone truly values you, their actions become consistent, their intentions become visible, and their presence feels safe instead of complicated. If this person chooses to return, it will happen with honesty and emotional maturity, not hesitation disguised as affection. And if they continue standing still, unable to meet you fully, that silence will no longer control your emotions the way it once did. You have already grown beyond that place. You are learning that self-respect creates a kind of peace that chasing never could. So lift your head a little higher now, and stop measuring your worth by how quickly someone else figures out your value. You are not behind in life, because your story unfolded differently than you expected. You are not difficult to love, because you care deeply and feel things intensely. Your heart was never the problem. In fact, your ability to love sincerely is one of the rarest things about you. What belongs in your life will not arrive wrapped in shame, secrecy, or emotional confusion. It will come openly, clearly, and without games. Take a deep breath and trust where you are standing today. Even in moments that felt uncertain, you were still becoming stronger, wiser, and more grounded in yourself. And no matter what happens next, you are walking forward now with more clarity, more peace, and far more strength than you realize.